Sul, hello, and Lapis. Welcome to another episode of the Payne Family Ultimate Decades Challenge. Today we're starting with the Woodhamses, because of one very specific reason. But before we get started, I just wanted to say that if you can hear clicking in this one, you probably could hear it in the last one as well. That's because my other mouse, the one that I usually use, which is a little bit quieter, it has had some issues where it hasn't been responding, so I'm using a different mouse. But the issue is that it's much louder, and so a lot of the time I end up cutting out pausing noises and sometimes filler words, like or or whatever. And so if you hear the clicking and it doesn't sound like it's at the right time, that's why. It's because, hey, your dad's making food, buddy. It's because I normally cut out spaces in between so that you don't have to listen to me stumble over my words. But what can we do? These things happen. Okay, so as you can see, Eleanor is in labor again. Hopefully this one goes better. Hopefully it's not multiples. That's my dream. Oh my gosh, Eleanor. You can do it, Eleanor. Oh my gosh. She looks so much older now, doesn't she? She never grew out of her acne, poor girl. Come on, Eleanor, this is going to be the one. I can feel it. I can feel it. This is the one. Oh, baby's here. Oh, it's a girl baby. Oh, cute. Not what they're after, but so long as she lives, I'll be happy. I've decided to go with the name Portia if they had a girl. So that's the no. God, oh my gosh, no. Oh God. Why does this keep happening? Somebody did actually, several people in the comments did mention that in The Sims 2, having multiples is passed down on the mother's side, and since Gree is the one who had all of these kids and she obviously had multiples every time, I guess it makes sense. And a lot of people said that they think that there is probably something at play that makes the Sims have more multiples if somebody in their family's already done that. But oh my goodness. The name that I had chosen, if it was going to be a boy, is Leopold. I thought it was a cute name. At least it's only 2. I guess at least there's a boy. That might be enough. It's just every time her luck is gonna run out one of these days. That's what it is that freaks me out. Every time that somebody has multiples, they're just there's something about the statistical probability of a number coming up if it's the same number rolled over and over again that makes it more likely than the initial rolls are. Which, I mean, that's kind of the point, I guess, but it was cute when it wasn't my Sims before I was emotionally invested, and now it's not really cute anymore. You know what I mean? For Eleanor to survive, she cannot roll the numbers 1, 11, or 15 because she had twins. The first one doesn't count, so number 12 is for the first baby. And for Leopold, 18. Oh my gosh, she's defied the odds again. Okay, now for the first baby, Portia, she and her brother, Leopold, cannot roll the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. So for Portia first. Oh my gosh, she's done it. And what about for baby Leopold? Oh my gosh. Well, at least it's progress. I'll say that. At least it's some kind of progress. You know, one of the many crazy things about this whole situation with Eleanor and Edward is that they started with 11 baby tries. 11. And right now, they've only got 4 left. And they've only got 3 children. That's crazy. But on that note, we'll leave the Woodhamses here and we'll head to the main Payne family. Because there's a lot of stuff to do there today. So I'll see you when we get to the main Paynes. Okay, after a few stops along the way, here we are back at the main Paynes, where, of course, it's been a big struggle. We barely made it in terms of being able to pay the challenge last time. I thought it was not going to be an issue. I was very much wrong. So Esmond and Knox are on their way back, but we once again only have 1,000 simoleons. I do think, though, it is going to be worth it to go ahead and... Oh, these crops are ready. Oh, that means we have to do taxes. But do you know what? It's fine. It's fine. What did we just lose? 4 simoleons. Oh, she's feeding the chickens. That's right. Harper, will you please come and sell all crops? We've got 1,047 simoleons, so it'll be annoying to have to do taxes, but we can do it. We can do it. Edgar's just playing inside. What a cute little baby. Oh my goodness, this potty. Please use elbow grease. Is this still good? It seems like it is. Is anybody hungry? No. Look at that money come rolling in. Okay, wait, before I get crazy, why are you uncomfortable? Oh, stung by a bee. Okie dokie. So we originally had started with like 1,047 after Luella had fed the chickens, and then we now have 2,437 just from a couple of oversized plants, which means that we made a profit of 1,390, but we owe 556. Of course, because that's the way that our lives are going. But that does mean that we still have, I mean, we just made, I don't know, like $800 almost. So you know what? It's worth it. Now, in terms of the 100 Years' War, the families are on their way back, but when they get home will depend entirely on where they are. So I kind of used geography to decide who gets home when. So basically the families who live in London are getting home first, then the families who live in the surrounding areas, then the families who live in Leicester like us, and last the families who live in like Lancaster. Oh, they're back! Yay! So they did go to worship the Watcher, and you know, they're maybe not... Oh yeah, Esmond must be telling his son a whole story about what he went through, but they're okay-ish, I want to say. They've both returned a little bit worse for the wear. So while they were in prison, Esmond ruled to go through an injury. So Esmond now has a couple of scars from his experience there. He's not, you know, in the best shape ever, but he pulled through pretty well. But you can see he looks, I don't know, a bit more gaunt. He's got even bigger bags. This poor guy, he's been worrying his butt off. As for Knox, old Knox is not doing very well, I'm afraid. Knox is having some issues. He's feeling a bit weak. He's got some muscle pains, some bone pains, and he's feeling incredibly feverish. For Knox, a disease? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, and I meant to bring up last time, Luella still doesn't know that Knox did what he did with Evelyn. Evelyn, to me, isn't the kind of sim who would go and tell her that. She wouldn't want to be cruel like that. And so she didn't go all the way there to tell Luella and to make their life awful or anything. She was literally just going to talk to Knox about, oh my gosh, more. It's more, you guys. Yeah, she was really just going there to talk to Knox and kind of like get some closure about everything, because why did I do the taxes earlier? Well, it's whatever. So when did we spend $80? There's 1,800 now. Who did it? Oh, it was us, duh, when we bought these oversized plant things. Oh my goodness, how silly. So we've got 1,806. We're about to sell a bunch of nectar. Where are you guys going? Oh, in your dad's bedroom? Okay, that's a choice. These animations are running awfully weird. Is that him autonomously asking now? Even though they just did it? I don't know. What are you doing? Just following your dad around? Listen, buddy. I'm glad that you want to be with your dad, but like, come on now. Why are you so angry? Oh, okay, fair enough. So we have to re-roll for the kingly visit because it's the first day of spring. So what we do is we roll a d8 and that tells us which week of which season he'll arrive. You've got to be kidding me. The first week? Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. Fine, he's coming the first week. Ugh. It's so frustrating. That's all of our food again. Okay, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Gardening lot traits as well. We still roll a d8 where 1, 3, 5, and 7 means that we don't get any gardening lot trait, but 2 means that we get crops blight, 4 means that we get great soil, 6 means we get bug zone, and 8 means poor soil. So 2 crops blight. Oh my gosh, I've never played with that before. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be such a rough start. Oh, this is not the way we wanted to go into the plague. Okay, well, fine. Fine. Oh my goodness. Maybe Knox is going to be a different person now that he's like, you know, had to go through everything. Maybe he'll change. Maybe he'll be better. We can hope. What are you doing? Just trailing her around? Oh, that's sweet. He wanted to join cooking. Yeah, so we didn't really get very lucky. We got crops blight for gardening lot traits. It's really not how I wanted to go into the plague. I'm not gonna lie. So yes, we have 1806. Excellent, excellent. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and have Esmond sell all of the nectars that he has so that he can fulfill more of his dream, and then I'll do the taxes once that's over with. So we have some things we have to change around their house, and we have some historical stuff we've got to talk about in terms of what's going on with Knox and how it's going to affect the family, because unfortunately it's not something that's only going to affect Knox. I wish that we didn't have 40% taxes right now. That really makes a big change. Yikes, these taxes are brutal. So we started before he started selling those nectar bottles with 1806. We've obviously got 10,655. Can you please sweep around? That's cute, you two. So that means that we made 8,849 simoleons, but because of the 40% taxes, we owe 3,540, which means that we're only going to be left over with 7,115, which I know that's still a lot more than we started today with, but like, for real, that is so crazy. Okay, now in terms of Knox, thank you, Knox. You are actually living up to what I need you to live up to, and I am appreciative of that. So in terms of Noxy, now this one's going to be pretty yucky because it's pretty much related and tied into lice, which I know grossed out a lot of people from the other episode, 2 episodes ago. So I'll have this one time stamped pretty clearly, but you might want to skip through it if it'll gross you out or anything. Okay, so according to most of the sources I've seen, jail fever was very deadly in the Middle Ages in prisons, and jail fever was also typhus. The complicating factor of this is that typhus and typhoid were hard to tell apart for doctors in the past for a lot of human history because they are both fever diseases. And of course, before we knew about bacteria, people had all kind of crazy reasons for what they think was causing stuff, but we'll talk about that more when we get to the plague. As a nice, gentle starting point, we can tell that lice are a major part of human existence or human history because lice-related language is found all over English. You've heard it in words like nitwit or lousy, or in phrases like a lousy night's sleep, or nitpicking, or to go over something with a fine-tooth comb. These are all references to lice and the louse. Also, lice are kind of interesting because they're a species that specialize a ton. So they basically only exist on one specific animal and in only one specific circumstance, which is why head lice are different to body lice, which is something that I had not known before doing this research. The oldest head louse was found on a hair from 8000 BCE in northeast Brazil, but they've also been found on mummies everywhere from South America to China to the Middle East and to Europe. Now, obviously, we probably all think lice are pretty gross. It's a natural feeling for a lot of us, but a quote that I heard that helped me feel somewhat more empathetic to these guys is, Quote, "The louse shares with us the misfortune of being prey to the typhus virus. If lice can dread, the nightmare of their lives is the fear of someday inhabiting an infected rat or human being. For the host may survive, but the ill-starred louse is doomed. In 8 days, he sickens. In 10 days, he is in extremis. On the 11th or 12th, he gives up his little ghost. To the louse, we are the dreaded emissaries of death. He leads a relatively harmless life, the result of centuries of adaptations. Then, out of the blue, an epidemic occurs, his host sickens, and the only world he has ever known becomes pestilential and deadly." Ooh, that quote really hits me because I think of the plague coming soon, and I think about what it must have been like for human beings at that time, when it's kind of the same thing, like the entire world just termed pestilential and deadly. And to think of a louse going through the same thing, I don't know, it makes me feel just a bit of empathy. Another thing that makes me feel a lot more empathy for the louse is that while typhus is a body lice transmitted disease, it doesn't exactly come from the louse. It actually comes kind of from us plus the louse. In simple terms, as far as I'm aware, as far as I understand it, we have some bacteria in us that is not harmful to us and usually not harmful to the louse. However, sometimes this bacteria mutates, at which point if a louse consumes it, it begins to change even more inside of the louse, and during that process it becomes typhus. So once that happens, it kills the louse and then gets transferred back into its human host. And the only way it can become an epidemic is when people are in cramped conditions where bedding or clothes are shared, and where washing or drying clothes is essentially not an option. And good examples of that obviously are medieval prisons or war camps or other times like that. Actually, I might go ahead and do the building stuff that I have to do while the typhus stuff is going on in the background. Sorry about shoving that through your bones there, buddy. What happens when somebody gets typhus is that they have an incubation period of about 10 to 14 days. And after that, there's about 1 to 3 days of just generally feeling not great. Non-specific, just not feeling greatness. After those 3 days or 1 day, depending, a fever starts, and that will continue throughout the course of the illness. Now, according to the podcast I was listening to, lice actually are very sensitive to the temperature, so they actually can't hang out on a body that is feverish probably, which forces the lice then to move on and seek another host. Once the fever has started, there's usually the sudden onset of a very severe headache and stomach pain, and other than that, other symptoms could be a lot of different things like muscle aches or joint pains, sometimes not wanting to eat, and if it's not treated, about 80% of people will have central neural system involvement, which could be delirium, it could be seizures, or it could be the one that's really, really dangerous at this point in time, especially in all of human history, but especially in the Middle Ages, it could cause a coma. Commonly, rashes are apparent, but the rashes vary dramatically between one person and the next. In modern times with antibiotics, the mortality rate for typhus is as low as 4%. Basically, if you live in a developed country with access to modern medicine, you have washing machines, you have more than one pair of clothes, it's completely treatable and you're fine. However, before antibiotics, mortality was estimated to be about 60%, according to the podcast I listened to, but that was over someone's entire life, which is kind of complicated due to a number of things that I'll get to in a second. First, people in the Middle Ages knew they should wash clothes. They did. They knew they should clean. It's such a misconception about the past that people didn't know that, but the problem is that most peasants and serfs only had one set of clothes. It was a lot of layers, but it was only one set of clothes. So during the winter time, how are they supposed to wash and dry things and also stay warm? That's a major issue. Because to get rid of the lice, you have to wash or dry your clothes in hot enough water, and that can be difficult at any point in time in the past, especially in wintry times. So basically, I estimated that the Sims would have a 50% chance of getting typhus because of Knox. The other 50% for them not getting it is maybe their clothes got washed and dried on an especially hot day, or maybe Luella is just so good at cleaning that like she just got rid of the lice or whatever. So 50% chance, heads or tails, does a sim get it? Heads he does, tails he doesn't. So for Esmond does not. What about for Harper? Harper does not. What about for Luella? Luella does? Oh my gosh, no, this is not the way I wanted this to go. Okay, what about for baby Edgar? No, Edgar doesn't get it, just Luella? Oh my gosh, I guess that kind of makes sense. So what about for the survival for our family? Well, for the purposes of this challenge, I'm going to roll a d10, and if Knox gets the numbers 3, 4, 5, or 6, he doesn't survive getting typhus. It immediately gets him. Maybe he falls into a coma. Maybe, I don't know, the fever burns too hot, something like that. First one never counts. Does Knox survive? 9? He does. He does. Knox survives getting typhus. Luella. Oh, she's fine too. Okay. For anyone who survived getting typhus, the tricky thing is that if it's left untreated, it can reactivate up to 40 years after the initial infection. And that's why I said before that survival or mortality rate, it's really tough. The interesting thing is that it can reactivate during times of stress, if you get another disease, or of course, if you get older and your immune system is more compromised. So for our Sims, even if they survive in times of stress, disease, or getting older, they will have another risk for it to reactivate. I'm going to say that Heidi and Alice will be safe unless it returns at a later date, because while lice can live for about 10 to 12 weeks, they flee a host with a fever, and the typhus actually gets rid of the lice. It eliminates it within that 12-day period. So in my head, the lice that currently are, existing in this typhus period, they're going to be dead by the time that Alice and Heidi get back, because it's going to be another half year by then. So essentially, Heidi and Alice and Beatrice are safe. In case you skip through the typhus facts, I've made some changes. Basically, I've moved all the animals over here, kind of fenced it in partially, and then moved the garden over here. And that is because I'm hoping that we're gonna get some mini sheep, mini goats, and that even though it's not fully fenced in, if I put them over here, that they won't be able to escape. That's the goal. Okay, so yeah, that's the outcome of the typhus thing, is that only Luella got typhus, which is kind of crazy to me, that of all of the Sims, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense because she sleeps in a bed with Knox. I really didn't see that coming though. Is that bad or good? Oh, that's good. Okay. I thought for sure there was no way that she was going to get it. I actually thought, probably baby was in trouble, baby Edgar, but Edgar was fine, thank goodness. Maybe this was a bad idea. Why did I plant all of these when we just rolled to get crops blight? I don't know what I was thinking. I can't defend my actions right now. But yeah, we're kind of trying to get this place going better, is essentially what we're trying to do. Can you please go and, I don't know, feed, clean, talk to, milk? And we're going to name this little guy, oh my gosh, Goatzilla? Yes. And what about you? What do you want your name to be? Marshmallow? That's cute, but they don't know what marshmallows are. Maybe you can just be called Sugar. She wants to have a child. I'm a little bit concerned because she and Knox woohooed, I think, twice yesterday. I don't see any signs of pregnancy. Do you think when the king comes for a visit, since we've got all of this nectar, that the nectar should be something he can take too? I guess I hadn't really thought about that before. I've never included it because it's something we end up selling, but maybe it should be. Where are you? Why are you guys out here? Buddy, you're up to your literal knees in snow. Why don't you go and talk to this rabbit? Maybe you can become friends with the rabbit. Oh my goodness, everyone is sickly in here. Okay, okay. Well, we have to leave soon anyways, but I wanted to do Mr.'s birthday first. I'll put that in there. Oh, and then we'll go and see the other families. But yep, this is what we've been working for, is for a bigger farm. Things on the up and up, everyone to slowly start building themselves. Although I guess we're kind of in a pickle as well because two Sims are up for marriage this year. 2. Okay, buddy, go make a wish if you don't mind. Everyone looks so awful. It makes me so sad. Dang. I am so sorry, everyone. It makes it more realistic. I mean, they would have brought back some diseases, but holy guacamole. Well, honestly, they said that they would have a rash, but that everyone's rashes look different. So here we have it. Rash boy? Oh, poor Luella. She doesn't deserve it. Okay, Knox. Happy birthday. Hopefully you survive. Okay, music lover, loner, and family-oriented. Maybe he has changed. I don't remember what his aspiration is, so I guess I'm gonna roll it again. So we'll see. Number 5. I think that's mead. Okay, mead it is. Maybe, there's been a lot of talk about the family going into some kind of business, like a tavern or something. So maybe this is the start of it, you know? Like, we've built up our farm quite a bit. We now have an heir who wants to be a mead guy. So maybe that's it, you know? Oh, everyone's so sick. Okay, once, Knox, I just need you to come and sit here for a moment so that we can see you, so that we can do your roles. Fear of unfulfilled dreams. Well, you're not going to be dancing to stereo music, I can tell you that. So for Knox to survive his age up, he cannot roll the number 6 or 14. That's it. So 11. He made it. Knox and Luella, I'd really like for you to do one more woohoo, but we have a few places to go, so I guess we're going to go ahead and do that now. Oh, how cute. They're out here playing horseshoes. That's adorable. So we're going to go ahead and head to the next household for the next birthday and see what fate awaits. Okay, so here we are at the Greystrokes' home because today is, in fact, Mr. Heath's teenage birthday. Whoa. So happy birthday, Heath. Happy birthday. Waybo, indeed. Everybody's pumped for you. Yet another teen, man. And soon it should be Signy's birthday as well. And that'll be all of the Gen 3 kids as teens. Whoa, crazy. There he goes. Oh, he aged up with a hood. And a hoodie. So he's adventurous and loyal. Interesting, because he's the one who argues with his brother all the time. And what aspiration is he going to have? Number 16. We'll skip that. Popularity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's perfectly 8. Ooh. A popularity one. Which one? Number 1. He really wanted number 1. Okay, number 1 it is. Party animal? Doesn't that just seem like Heath to you? Like, I don't know. It just seems like Heath. Oh, I forgot about Edith. Okay. They won't all be grown up soon. But Signy, one more day. One more day. Okay, buddy, let's get you into Cass and see how you're gonna go, what your life is gonna look like. Whoa, and makeup too? What a choice. Wow. Okay, fella. Let's just get, like, any hair that's not this. Oh. Wow. For Heath to survive, he just cannot roll the number 7. First one doesn't count, so number 1. Man, he's really committed to 1. Will he get married? Oh my goodness. If those had been the other way around. Ooh. He will be getting married, and how many babies is he going to be allowed to try for? 3. Oh dear. Okay, well, there you have it. 3. But yeah, there he is. I don't know why. It might be because of the makeup he came out with, but for some reason, it kind of just gives me the vibes of a guy who travels around, going to parties, maybe being a bard to make some money on the side, but not really being that serious. Oh, he's talking with his cousin. But on that note, I think we're going to go ahead and leave the Greystrokes and head to the next household to introduce a new character who is now part of the story. Alright, so here we are at the Woodhamse house, which is a new house because Edith has gotten married. She got married while her family members were away, when they were away at the war. So very few of her siblings were able to come, unfortunately. Really, nobody was able to come. It's kind of sad. This is her husband, Thomas de Beauchamp. He is very much older. So as you might know, Edith is still a teenager. And Thomas de Beauchamp is actually an adult already. He's unflirty, he's an insider, but he's good and domestic. He wants to have a successful lineage. But basically, he and Edith, it's just a political marriage. It's nothing more than that. They don't really have any relationship yet. They just are married to each other. They have pretty much no romance at all. But Edith doesn't mind that because Edith is squeamish, so she kind of just wants to be taken care of, and she's a loner but also wants to be a friend of the world. And the way that I've kind of interpreted that is that Edith wants to kind of have a nice comfortable life. She wants to, I don't know, have a good relationship with the serfs who live near her, the tenants that are on the land that she's a part of, but she doesn't really feel the need to have people around all the time. She kind of likes being left to her own business. And so that's kind of how I'm interpreting Edith. And I'm also thinking that that explains why she doesn't mind having a husband that she's really not that close with. Edith is, as you can see, in her 3rd trimester in question mark. Oh my gosh, I've just realized I never looked at names for these two. Well, I'll think about that when the time comes, but they don't really have a romantic relationship. Neither of them really feels like they need a romantic relationship. They're both actually pretty content in this situation. And if you can hear that in the background, hey, I just said neither of you care that much. I guess they have now a pretty good friendship already, just from cooking together, but interesting. For an unflirty sim, he just started something there, so that's interesting. But yeah, I don't think that either of them feels the need to have a deep romantic relationship with each other. I think they're pretty content just sort of existing on their own. They don't even have a shared bedroom, which was actually pretty common at the time. Go, Edith, go. This is baby. Oh my gosh, I've just realized I was so distracted by the background noise, which I still hope you can't see here, that I forgot to get someone over here for her. And it's so dumb because Marisol literally lives like next door. Oh, Edith. That's how I feel right now, too. I am so sorry. Oh, she had a daughter. I'm gonna roll for the baby and mom first before I do anything crazy. So let's see if they're gonna make it. For Edith, she cannot roll the numbers 1, 2, or 11. First one doesn't count, so 15. She's fine. Okay, and the baby cannot roll the numbers 1, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 17, or 20. Oh my gosh, the baby lived? Nice! So I'm going to name this baby Ingrid, kind of in honor of Gree, but also maybe a more English-friendly name. I don't know if that's true or not. I really wanted to call her Gree. I just feel like that's not a very common name in England at the time. But let me know what you think. But I thought it might be nice to have a nod to Gree without it actually being literally her name. Oh, so cute. Okay, we're gonna head out now, and I will see you when we get to the next household. Goatzilla. Oh my gosh. The best name ever. If you guys didn't know, a cheat about goats is that if you leave the lot and you come back, they're always ready to be milked or sheared again. The reason why I brought us back here is because I thought it would be nice to kind of do the roles while we're here. So, yep, you'll be able to see the war rules for the first group of Sims who are coming back. To survive the war, the Sims must roll on a d20 and avoid the number 3. 3 means death. So for Kennard first, for Gree, for Adam, for Kieran, for Edwin, for Aiken, for Arthur. Well, that doesn't mean that they're safe though, because what it does mean is they have to do the amended rolls where they could have a positive or negative outcome or nothing. So basically even numbers mean that nothing happens, whereas odd numbers mean that something positive or negative could happen. So for Kennard first, 13, that means that he has received respect from the higher ups. Wow, that's very good for him. What about for Gree? 1, Gree has been recognized for her war efforts. Like Jacobsons, they only succeed, right? Shouldn't have said that yet. What about for Adam? 5, Adam has developed some relationships. Oh my, Adam. What about for Kieran? Number 10, nothing happened for Kieran. He just kind of went and was a part of it. What about for Edwin? 9, Edwin has built some skills. Wow, exciting. What about for Aiken? 9, Aiken built some skills. That's nice. What about for Arthur? 10, nothing happened to him. Well, and on that note, that's kind of going to be the end of this episode. That's the end of the first half of 1342. So in the next episode, we actually have a lot of birthdays. It's a big one for birthdays. Everyone else is going to be returning from the war. We'll see the home risk roles, including some of the notable side households that kind of are not our Sims, but they're also a part of our story in one way or another. They're also going to have the roles for their homes. And also we'll finally see sort of like Seamus's new life, not just as a little mini movie, but like actually go and see him because it's his adult birthday role. So, you know, lots of stuff going on. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.